71 players have won the World Cup and the Champions League, but only one of those players has won the Champions League 5 times. Toni Kroos. Kroos wasn't fast, strong, or a particularly good dribbler. He didn't steal the spotlight with flair or flashy skills. So what exactly does Kroos do on the footballing pitch that no matter where he goes, his team always wins? Whenever people talk about the Real Madrid team that won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, or the treble-winning Bayern Munich squad, or even the 2014 World Cup winning Germany team, Kroos' name is rarely mentioned. In a world where speed and skill moves often steal the spotlight, Kroos possessed something far more important. A footballing brain that was better than any physical ability. Kroos is able to read the game and see passes others can't see. Since the 2013-2014 season, Kroos' pass accuracy has never been below 92%. 92. In fact, every season his percentage has gone up. His incredible passing ability and intelligence was seen at a young age. It was the foundation of his rise. Showing his passing talent at an early age, Kroos was the youngest player ever to represent Bayern in a professional match at 17 years, 265 days old, at the 2007 FIFA Under-17 World Cup. It's quite remarkable the composure and maturity Kroos was showing at a young age due to his technical ability on the ball. On his UEFA Cup debut, Kroos came on as a substitute in the 81st minute, providing an assist for Klose and then scoring the game-winning goal in stoppage time. What a way for you to score your first goal at the club. Despite showing flashes of the player he could be, Bayern felt Kroos needed time to develop, so they sent him on an 18-month loan to Bayer Leverkusen. This is where he developed into the player that we see now. In the 2009-2010 season, Kroos established himself as a starter in the Leverkusen team despite using no skills or speed. Between matchdays 16 and 20, Kroos got 5 goals and 4 assists in just 5 Bundesliga matches, earning him the Player of the Month award from Kicker for December and January. Kroos ended the season with 9 goals and 12 assists in just 33 appearances despite being played out of position. Playing as a left midfielder, his precise passing was easy to see. He knew where the spaces were, how much force to put onto each pass, when to move, keep possession, and when to play a direct through ball. His understanding of the game was on another level. Feeling like he was ready, Kroos returned to Bayern in the summer. Despite having no speed or strength, Jupp Heynckes established Kroos as a starter in the Bayern midfield. Jupp was the former coach at Leverkusen back when Kroos was there on loan, so he knew exactly how to get the most use out of the German. Kroos, along with Bastian Schweinsteiger, formed a strong midfield duo. The two were in a double pivot in a 4-2-3-1 and complemented each other well. They could both do a little bit of everything, but Bastian was tasked with winning the ball back, while Kroos was responsible for doing what he does best, dictating the tempo and finding the right passes. The company of equally like-minded individuals shaped Toni Kroos as a footballer who could save his energy but still control the pitch. While Kroos showed maturity well above his age, he experienced heartbreak early in his career. After playing 51 matches in all competitions for Bayern Munich, he tasted defeat in the 2012 Champions League final. Kroos and Schweinsteiger played well, but it wasn't enough as the Bavarians lost at their own stadium on penalties. Toni Kroos worked hard on improving his technical ability even more after the loss. Seeing just how good Kroos was at creating chances, Jupp decided to change the midfield in the 2012-2013 season. Bayern switched to a 3-man midfield with Kroos pushing more forward. It was a great decision as Kroos scored 3 goals in the team's opening 4 matches. He also scored his first Champions League goal in Bayern's opening group match against Valencia. The only thing that stopped the growth of Toni Kroos as the technical player we see today was the darkest injury in his career. After getting injured in the first leg of the Champions League quarterfinals against Juventus, Kroos was unavailable for the remainder of the season, missing the tail end of a historical season where Bayern would end up winning the treble. Despite being a massively important player for one of the best Bayern teams we've ever seen, Kroos didn't get much appreciation. Fans talked way more about flashier players like Robben and Ribéry. Their speed, dribbling, and statistics made them far more entertaining than Kroos' perfect passes. But what's worse is the Bayern board had a lack of faith in him as well. According to sources, Toni Kroos was offered a new contract, but Bayern made it clear that they didn't want to pay Kroos more than 10 million euros. Kroos knew how much other players like new signing Mario Götze were making, but the board made it very clear that they thought he was a good player, but not a world-class one. According to Kroos' friends, he felt disrespected at the club. It wasn't about the money, but more about the lack of confidence from the higher ups. Even those at the highest level of position in football were overlooking Kroos' talents. His ability to make the right decision, his vision, and tactical intelligence were overlooked because it wasn't shiny. Kroos knew it was time for a new chapter. Despite all the controversy behind the scenes, Kroos was named in the Germany squad for the 2014 World Cup. In the team's opening match, a 4-0 win over Portugal, Kroos started in the midfield and got 2 assists. Then in the quarterfinals, the only goal scored by Mats Hummels against France came from Kroos' free kick. A beautiful cross whipped in with pace. Set pieces, as we will see later in the video, is another element of Kroos' game that he does at the highest level. Considering how good his long passing is, it only makes sense that his free kicks are also perfect. In the semifinals against Brazil, Kroos showed his goal scoring ability, scoring 2 of the 7 goals Germany put past Brazil. First goal, banger with his left foot. Kroos does not have a weak foot, he is equally good with both feet. The second was an easy tap-in. In that same game, Kroos had gotten his 4th assist of the tournament after crossing the ball into Müller, who had scored the opening goal. Kroos was named man of the match. Germany had made it to the World Cup final where they would go on to defeat Argentina. Despite being told that he wasn't world class, that he wasn't shiny enough, that he didn't have the speed or the skills, Kroos still helped Germany become world champions. He was named on the 10-man shortlist for FIFA's Golden Ball, and according to the Castrol Performance Index, which was the official statistical analyzer of the World Cup, Kroos had the highest rating out of all the players in the tournament with a 9.79 rating out of 10. Despite all of these achievements, Kroos wasn't the main topic of discussion, obviously. Players like Neuer, Götze, and even Müller were getting far more praise. I guess being the calm and composed central midfielder isn't exciting. But man, what a player. After a fantastic World Cup performance and a solid season at Bayern before his injury, Real Madrid announced that they had reached an agreement to sign Kroos for £25 million. Even the transfer fee for him was low because people knew he was a good player, but they thought he had invisible stats. The transition from Bayern Munich to Real Madrid wasn't just a change in leagues, but it was a new battlefield where Kroos' football IQ would be tested again. Forming a midfield trio with James Rodriguez and Luka Modric, Kroos showed exactly just how valuable he was. In the 2014 FIFA Club World Cup, he led the tournament in assists. He was named in the UEFA Team of the Year as well as the FIFA Pro World 11. Kroos' game elevated to another level when Zidane was appointed as manager. And we all know how technical Zidane was when he played. With this partnership, Kroos became a regular and provided 13 assists in all competitions in the 2015-2016 season. He was vital for Real Madrid winning the Champions League that season, helping control the speed of play from the center of the park. He had the most chances created in the Champions League with 31. In the following season, Kroos got 3 goals and 12 assists to help Real Madrid win La Liga as well as yet another Champions League. All eyes were on Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, and Luka Modric, but there's a reason that Kroos was the most used player under Zidane. At the time, Kroos had created the most chances out of any player in the Champions League since the 2012-2013 season. Having a player who always makes the right decision is so valuable. Imagine being able to play the ball to Toni Kroos, knowing that he will never make a mistake and will always find the right pass. Imagine knowing that whenever Kroos has the ball, he's never going to lose it. Even if the team is parking the bus, Kroos will find a way to break it down. Kroos doesn't need to outrun his opponents, he outthinks them. Every touch and pass from him has a meaning. A lot of people like to make fun of Kroos, calling him a side-to-side pass merchant. In fact, there was a nickname they used for him in Germany called Querpasser, which is German for side-to-side passer. Even in the video game FIFA, Kroos is never used by kids because he has like 50 pace. He is fodder in the game. But Kroos has historically always been at the top of the charts when it comes to progressive passes and chances created. No player has had more passes into the final third in the Champions League than Kroos. Not only does he have the most passes, but he has also done it with the highest efficiency with a success rate of 89%, which is the highest of all time. You would think that after winning his 3rd Champions League in a row in 2018, Kroos would have started to get a little bit more appreciation, but he was still the unsung hero. During the 2017-2018 UEFA Champions League, Kroos made 12 appearances, the perfect partner next to Luka Modric and Casemiro. They had become one of the greatest midfield trios of all time. In 2020, Real Madrid as a whole had a disappointing season after being eliminated by Manchester City in the Champions League. But Kroos had one of his best individual goal scoring seasons, scoring 6 goals to go along with 9 assists. This shows the ability of the guy to be able to stand out even in games where his team is losing. Kroos scored Real Madrid's first official goal at the Alfredo Di Stefano Stadium in just 4 minutes in an eventual 3-1 win over Eibar. This was Kroos' first free kick goal for Real Madrid in just 6 attempts. He was on cruise control. Get it? Yeah, I'll show myself out. He finished the next season with 3 goals and 10 assists. Notice how many seasons he gets double-digit assists despite playing in a deep playmaker role. He doesn't score much, but when he does, it's a banger. Stats don't do Kroos justice though. He is one of those players that you really have to focus on to see his value. The way he picks out the perfect pass in every situation, it's really a work of art. Kroos has been able to stay at the top level for a very long time because he doesn't rely on physical abilities to compete. With his passing and knowledge of the game, he has continued producing value for Real Madrid by helping them win yet another Champions League in 2022. While he doesn't dominate the stat sheet, I think any Real Madrid fan will tell you every attack goes through Kroos. There is literally nobody on the Real Madrid team that has the same profile as him. As good as a player like Modric is, he doesn't have Kroos' range of passing and the ability to do it with both feet. Kroos might only be 34, but he has played top flight football for half of his life. His longevity is impressive and has happened because he doesn't rely on athleticism, but rather his footballing IQ. His intelligence and world-class passing have put him in the conversation with the greatest midfielders of all time. Not only did Kroos conquer Europe, but he conquered the world, proving that in football, the greatest strengths lie not just in your legs, but in the mind. There is one player who is just as good, if not even better than Kroos when it comes to passing. And that player is Kevin De Bruyne. To see how KDB is dominating the Premier League right now, check out this video right here.